Hi guys, Edie here. Okay, today I want to talk about competition, not necessarily competing in a contest, but competition between instructors for other people's students, right? Or competition between schools, nobody talking to each other. Oh God, they're going to take my students, whatever. I've been around quite a bit. I've been to different countries. I've seen how they operate because I knew that one day I would probably have my own school and settle down, stop moving, stop traveling so much, and it definitely has happened. And I'm loving it. I didn't think I really would in the beginning, but having my own school has been quite a trip. And I didn't want to do it at first. That was like the last thing from my mind, but then I kind of thought, you know what, I got to. And one of the reasons why I had to was because I was training all these men, and they were getting really, really good, but they were complaining that the girls were not equivalent in their amount of training. And so they ended up having to dance with a lot of women that just didn't know either the moves or the techniques that I was training them in. So I said, okay, I'm going to open up my own school. Well, since then, I've learned about competition between instructors or between schools. And, when I had my own school in California, we had group classes. It wasn't really a school per se, but we had group classes. In Los Angeles, I think that, it takes 40 minutes to get from one instructor to the other instructor at least, or an hour and a half with traffic, even though they're 10 miles away. Anyway, in LA, we used to never compete. I never, ever once felt a sense of, oh my God, he's going to take my students, or they're going to take our students, or whatever. Never. I mean, I started seeing that when I started traveling outside of LA to different countries, in particular to different islands, okay, throughout the world. When you have a city or a town that doesn't have the massive population that LA does, maybe even New York, but I did still feel competition in New York between instructors. When you have that sparse population, envy, fear, negativity, putting down other schools and other instructors really, really was intense. And I was quite shocked. I was surprised. I was thinking, why are you afraid they're going to take a student or two? There's going to be more students down the road. That's how we always thought in LA. In fact, if a student called me and said, Edie, I want to take your group classes, I would ask them where they lived first. We live in Diamond Bar. Oh my God, I would always refer them to Liz Lira or someone over there in that area. I said, you know what, there's an instructor that's closer to you. I didn't know if you knew that, but we didn't really have Google back then at the time to where you just couldn't Google. And so I would always refer them to other people, or Solomon Rivera if they were in Costa Mesa, or Abel Pena if they were, in East LA or whatever. I would always refer them to other instructors first and foremost. And I know for a fact those instructors did the same thing for us. And I was like, when I left and I moved to Florida, for example, I could not believe the amount of competition. They didn't even talk to each other. It was, I don't know necessarily how it is today anymore, but it's really not a cool thing, to hold grudges or to be resentful about another instructor or another school at all. The reason why is because your students are going to feel that resentment. You're touching them, you're talking to them. They're on your same wavelength. They're on your same vibration. And when they feel even an inkling of envy or strife or jealousy or whatever from you, it's immediately a negative, and they get this negative vibe about you, about your school, about everything. When you operate based on the premise of fear and competition, you will lose your business. You're going to lose your school. You're going to lose your students. You're going to lose everything. This just doesn't apply to dance. This applies to life. When you operate with no fear, you become feared, okay? And I made up that quote a couple years ago when I really started to feel negativity toward black belt salsa in the school and whatnot out here in Colorado, and I was thinking, why? Let's share, there's there's 1 billion people on this planet. There's 9 billion people on this planet, actually. We all need to teach them salsa. And I think my instructors were shocked when I told them, I said, I want you to make as much private lesson money as you can. These students really need, it's a win-win situation. Go out there and make some private lesson money. And other instructors around the country were telling me, Edie, shouldn't you make a percentage off their privates? I mean, they're your students. You're giving them your students from your group classes. You should be the one doing the private lessons. Oh my God. I think I teach more private lessons than anybody in the nation. I'm teaching privates from 8 in the morning until 6 at night, for example, today. And then actually till 6. And then I'm doing apprentice training from 8 till 10. That I'll do anywhere between, 2 to 13 hours a day of teaching. And there's plenty to go around. You have to be in the mental area of your mind saying there is so much out there. Operate in plentiful mode, operate in abundance mode, and you will never have to worry about anybody taking your students. Now check this out. Let's say, for example, your students or student decided to join another school, okay? Awesome. They're going to learn about that school, okay? And hopefully they'll come back and they'll say, wow, I really know what it's like out there now. I prefer you, And that has happened to me countless times. People come, people go. Sometimes they go permanently, And there's one thing you can't do is you can't control people, okay? It's hard enough trying to control yourself, but trying to control somebody else, if you have that issue or if you know somebody that has that issue, I highly recommend the book Codependent No More by Melody Beattie. It's awesome. I had to read that book when I had a husband that was an alcoholic. And I had to learn that whatever people do is their own choice and there is nothing on earth that I can do about it. Okay? Even if they ask for help or they beg and plead for help and that maybe possibly there's a slight perhaps chance that maybe you can help them, don't even try. No. You can't change people. You can't control people. And you know what? If you resent the instructor that your students went to, sorry, the sun is here. If you resent that, you're going to lose. For every student that you lose with resentment, and you have resentment toward that instructor, you're going to lose at least 10 more. Just think of it like that. How's that? So if you lose one and you get pissed off about it, guess what? 10 are leaving within the year. Okay? So I am here to tell you to please welcome. When people want to leave your school, tell them, awesome. That's a great instructor. They're really good teachers. I think it's great, and we're always welcome back with open doors. Our doors are always open. If you ever decide to come back, we're not going anywhere. We're right here, And I guess I really miss just the camaraderie between the instructors in Los Angeles, Sorry. I miss going to clubs and seeing everybody share, and everybody having a great time. I miss going to a club and seeing the top instructors in the city all frequenting the same clubs, all dancing with each other, all referring each other, all sharing, I miss that a lot. And, it just doesn't seem right that people would boycott clubs or people would boycott schools or talk shit about other people, because we're all just trying to make a living, right? And I love referring to people to, other instructors if they have dance teams, because I don't do a dance team, not yet. I haven't had the desire. I love referring people to others, you know, if they're living in a different area, you know. I don't know, guys. I guess I just get emotional about this because it doesn't need to be competitive. We all just need to share and love each other, encourage each other, because for every instructor that you refer to somebody, or for every student that you refer to another instructor or tell them how awesome they are, guess what? You're going to get 10 coming to you from all the 10 instructors that refer them to you. You know, what is it? Move it, pay it forward, you know? When you do something nice for somebody else, it always comes back to you 100-fold. So I hope you remember that. And also about students and fellow dancers as well, you know. Everybody just needs to be nice to each other and give to each other and love each other. Okay? All right, this is Edie signing off.